Hi, Wyatt. You had a question on how you get medals on this manga high stuff. So I thought, well, let's go through and look at this. I'm going to do this week's assignment that we have right now. And notice I'm starting off and the skill level is easy. When you start off and you have the easy level, the points that you acquire are not going to be very high. So if we start off in the easy level and we end on the easy level, we're not going to get enough points to score a bronze medal. We'll have to get enough correct answers that we at least get into the medium questions. So that's where we really want to work on. And I'll show you what I mean here. Here, hopefully we know that the first number is the x coordinate and the second number is the y coordinate. So the x coordinate here is 6 and the y coordinate is 0. Score. And notice that by doing that, I got 100 points. Here, we're going to fill in the table. It says we're going to multiply each of the x values by 4 to make a y value. So I'm going to take that's, and if you look over here, they took 2 and then multiplied by 4 to get 8. So if we take 6 times 4, we'll get 24. And if we take 4 times 4, we'll get 16. And if we take 10 times 4, we'll get 40. And we'll submit that. So again, because I got it right, it assigned me some points, and now I'm up to 300. The point on the line has coordinates of 3, 5. Again, the first number is your x, so the x coordinate is 3. And the second number is your y, so the y coordinate is 5. And so now it's given me a score up to 700. So the more you get correct in a row, the more points they're going to be worth. And now we're into the medium category. And so these are going to be worth even more than the easier ones. Which graph shows the coordinates from this table plotted correctly? Well, we're going to look at the points. 0, 0 is the origin. This graph goes through the origin. This graph goes through the origin. And this one does not. And this one does not. So it's either of the middle ones. And then we'll look to some of the other ones. When your x value is 2, your y value is -2. So we've got to look and see, is this graph showing a 2, -2? No, but this one is. So I'm going to select that graph. And so now let's plot the points. A lives at 2, 3. So I'm going to grab A, go 2 in the x direction and 3 in the y direction. That's where A lives at 2, 3. B, it says lives at 1, 4, so I go to 1 on the x and 4 on the y. And C lives at 3 on the x and 5 on the y. So we'll put our points there. And notice all of a sudden now I'm at 1,300. Yay for us. Choose the y value to match the x value so that x minus y makes 15. So when I subtract, it gets to be 15. So 20 minus some number is 15. 20 minus 5 would give us that. 34 minus some number is going to give us 15. That's going to be 19. If you grab your calculator, you find out that 34 minus 19 will get you there. And 26 minus 11 will also give us 15. So again, top number minus that bottom number has got to be 15. Now we're up to 2100. Match the equations to their graphs. So we're going to go, remember that on here, the number that comes before the x is your slope, and the last number is where it crosses the y-axis. So in this case, it crosses the y-axis at 1 and has a slope of 1. And so this is the only one that actually does cross at 1. It's got to go there. This one crosses at -1. That goes there. And this one crosses at the origin. It has a slope of 2. Submit that. Now we're into the hard category. Again, we get to the hard category by answering the previous questions correctly. If you look up here, it says if I answer 2 more correctly, then I'll move up to the extreme category, and that's where you got to really head to get your gold. But let's do this first. 3, 2 lies on one of these lines. 5 minus 3 is 2, so that's that one. 5 minus a 3, put 3 in for x, is 2. If you add 1 and 9, you get 10, and with that one there, 3, 8 lies on one of these lines. If I add 3 and 8 together, you get 11, so that goes there. 5, 5. 10 minus 5 is 5, so I think that goes there, and this one would have to go there. Now we're into the extreme category. Now notice my score isn't going to be high enough to get a gold yet, but that's okay. Bear with me. And this is the last question. There's only 10 per round. 3, negative 2 lies on one of these lines. Which one? Indeed. 3/6. Oh, plus 3/2, really? Oh, let's just go ahead and we'll put we'll just stick these in there. We won't go to the extreme category. Let's say that, like, when you look at your progress, you see like, oh, we've got all the way up here and we missed the extreme question, but that's okay. Now we got 4,200 points, and that did earn us a bronze medal. But in order to get a higher one, we're going to play again. And it remembers where you left off. So I could close out of here and then go back. So, for example, let me move this out of the way. I could even like close out of here. And when I go back and play it, it remembers where I left off. So if you look at this, I was on the extreme level. And so my next one's going to start with extreme. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the extreme level and see what kind of score I can get. 2, 2. Well, this would be 2. This one's 2, 2, because 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, so that point lives there. 17 and minus 3, 20 and 0. That would be this one. And we go there. Again, remember that this number shows, this number over here is that y, we're in y equals mx plus b form, where this last number is where it crosses. And so this one crosses at the 1 on the y-axis. So that graphic is going to go there. This one crosses at -3. So this graph is going to go there. Come on, graph, go there. And that leaves this graph for down here. Now, notice I've only answered 2 questions. I'm already at 1,200 points here. Again, this number here is where it crosses the y-axis. And your y-axis, of course, is the one that runs up and down. So this one crosses at 2. It's got to be that. This one crosses at -5, so it's got to be this one. And this one crosses at 0. It's kind of like saying +0. So we'll put this one here. Boom. Do the same thing here. This one's got to cross at 4. So here, this one crosses at 4, up there at 4. This one crosses at -4. So you look down here, the line's crossing the y-axis at -4. And this one crosses at 0. So put that there, submit our answer. Back to one of these. Okay. If I plug in a 3 for my x, I'd have -3, and a 10 for my y, I'd have -3 plus 10, which is 7. So that goes there. 10 divided by 5 is 5, and 5 minus, so minus 5 minus 2, that would not be it. 2, 0. So this one goes here, and this one's got to go there, and I'm just plugging them in my head to see where they're going. Again, these are where they're crossing. This crosses the y-axis at -1. which is this one. This crosses at -3, which is this one. And this one crosses at 0. This one crosses at 1. This one crosses at 4. Last one goes to the last one. This one crosses at 2. This one crosses at -4. This one crosses at 0. And let's plug these in. If I had -2 minus 6, I'd get to -8. This one goes here, and this one goes here. Complete the table. So again, we're just going to plug in this value for your x. So in the first one, 7 minus 4 is 3. 3's cancel and leave you with 10. So that's going to be 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. That's going to give us 20. You could use calculator here if you wanted to. How do I get negative? Negative 40 thirds. Got to get to 0. I think it's got to be this one. Yep, made the wrong guess. Anyways, notice that because I started at the extreme level and I answered most of the questions right, didn't get the last one right, but because I went to the extreme level and that's where I started, that my points are all the way up to 12,400. And so I got a silver medal. So the way you earn medals is you have to start on something other than easy and get the questions correct. And the more questions you get correct, then the higher score is going to be. The higher level you start at, the higher your score is going to be when you continually answer questions correctly. So when I say just keep doing the activity, what I mean is like do the activity and get correct answers, and that will move your level up. And then at the end, when you're done with that, with those 10 questions, you'll be able to start the next time at a higher level. And when you start at that higher level and get several right questions, your points build up faster, and you can see how you can build them up. If you look at like some of your classmates here, if you're getting in the 15,000s, I'm sure these are all probably golds, because if you were to answer that one more question at the end, you'd get at least another bonus for doing that and get a higher score. So anyways, it's really about answering questions correctly and doing the activity multiple times. In some classes, I've seen people score gold medals in as few as 2 tries. For most, I've seen people generally the fewest times that you can do an activity is 3 to get a gold medal. So like, as long as you can move yourself to the extreme level and then answer those correct questions correctly at the extreme level, you'll get a gold. But even if you don't answer all of them correctly, you can still earn bronzes, and you can still earn silvers. Like I started at the extreme here, but I missed my last question, but still earned a silver, and that's okay. What I do when I look at how to grade your stuff is I take into account how many tries you've had. Now, be careful if you're just clicking through. For example, I might go in here and say, I'm going to play. And I can finish this pretty fast. Even though I started extreme, I can hit submit answer a bunch of times and whip through this sucker just guessing or not filling in things. And I can get through in record time. And that's an attempt. And I can see the attempts that people make. But if you go through and you're just guessing and you're not earning any points and moving up or anything, it doesn't take you very long, and you didn't get very many right. So if you have a bunch of attempts where your score was really low, or you went really fast through it and you weren't thinking things through it, I'm not apt to give you very, very many points for that. But in general, if you score a gold, I'm going to give you all the points possible. If you score a bronze, I'm going to probably give you somewhere around 8 out of 10. Now, that depends. Some people, went through and they'll do like 20 attempts and spent some time on it and still only got a silver. And so I'll give them higher than an 8 out of 10. I'll give them more like an 85% or so. And the same thing happens with the bronze. Even a bronze, typically I give you like 70%, unless you spent a lot of time earning that bronze and really worked hard at it, in which case I'd give you a higher score, 75 or so, maybe even 80% if you put in the work. If you're just spending a few minutes and you're not putting a lot of effort into it, you could try. Like I said, I just went through here and guessed and finished it in probably 10 seconds. So I could probably do 6 attempts per minute, and I could spend 6 minutes doing it and get 36 attempts in and go, but I really tried. I put 36 attempts in. But remember, I can see how you did as well as how much time you put in. So put a little bit of time in and put the effort in and try to get as many right as you can. I've turned the timer off and I reassigned those problems to you. So make sure that you're working make sure you're working on the ones that I assigned to you, because the timer's turned off. If after the assignment expires, you go in and do that same activity, it's going to have a timer on it, and that makes things harder. So if you need me to reassign some of those because you're really struggling with time, let me know and I'll turn the timer off and reassign it to you. But by default, and I can't change this, the site has a timer. And the only way I can turn it off is to give you an assigned version of it. And once I assign it, I can turn the timer off. But you're going to have to attempt those activities before they're due, because after the due date, it all goes back to turning the timer on. And I can't turn it off then. So if you need me to reassign some of these to you that you're stuck on, I will do that and give you an opportunity to do it without a timer on. But let me know where you're at. But anyways, hopefully that gives you a little bit of help with how you do earn medals, and give it a shot. I know you can do these. Take your time and try to get as many right in a row as you can so you can advance those levels. Okay. Good luck to you, sir. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.